Okay, hello everyone. Myself Shubham Dangi, and I'm a third year computer science and engineering undergrad from Don Bosco Institute of Technology, Bangalore. And I am Alpha Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. And according to my program at Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, I need to host this event as a part of a task of my program at Microsoft as a Learn Ambassador Alpha. So today's topic is very important. So let's directly jump into the topic. Before uh, before that, can you please confirm me that you can hear me? Can you please write in the chat box that you can hear me? Just write yes or no, please, so that I can know. And we start with the event. Is my video audio all perfect? Are we good to go? Okay. I see the messages here. Okay. Just give me 1 second. Okay. So I think you have seen this. So let's get started. So the topic for today's event is open source and facts related to Git and GitHub. We'll dive deep into the concept of Git and GitHub and how we can use it to contribute to the open source community, how we can take benefit from the open source community using Git and GitHub. And if you don't know how to use GitHub, or you don't even you never heard of it, it's not a problem at all. And even if you know how to use these tools, these awesome tools, then also we'll walk deep into it and you will understand how they actually works. Even if you know how to use these tools, that's okay, but how these tools works, this is also a very important concept, so that we are going to cover here today. So because just knowing to use it, it's not that much enough. You have to know how things work in order to use them with a purpose. Okay, so what is Git and what is GitHub? Git is the most important thing, a most important weapon for a programmer, developer, or a software engineer. If you are a software engineer, software developer, or even a software engineering student, then you must know about it. And if you are a developer and you don't use GitHub, then I think you need to think about your profession once again, because you can't be a developer without GitHub. You can't be a software engineer without GitHub and Git. So 90% of the projects globally in the world are using Git as in their program, in their projects. So it's a very important concept. So let's jump into it directly. So what is Git? Uh, like we hear so many times Git, GitHub, open source, but what it is exactly, that's what I'm going to tell you now. So as you can see here, Git is a free and open source distributed version control system, BCS, designed to handle everything from small to very large projects with speed and efficiency. So this is just a definition. So I am not just going to read it aloud. One thing about this event is we are not going to just read slides and PPTs here. We are not going to just read the predefined definitions here. We are going to jump into the concept. We are going to execute things, how things work. We are going to see how things work, and I will teach you step by step. Not just I will not read just the PPTs or the definitions, because such a technical concept like Git and GitHub and open source cannot be explained, or cannot be even, we cannot even think about Git and GitHub by just understanding it theoretically. It's a practical concept, and we will use it, and I'll explain you how to use. So it is a distributed version control system. So what is a version control system? It will come to your mind. So what is a version control system? Obviously, if it is a version control system, Git is a version control system, you need to know what is a version control system, or VCS. So version control is a system that keeps the track of changes you made to the file over time. You call specific versions later. So this is just again just a definition, but I'll tell you by relating to real world examples. So, for example, if you are developing a project, and you are starting off a company, so you make your website, and you think to scale it on places, and then you launch it as a startup. So you code it in your local machine, in your local system, in your laptop, computer, whatever it is, and then you launch it. So what happens at certain point of time, you will notice that something more can be done. Something more can be added to this product. Any feature can be added, any bug which is there, so that can be fixed. So what you will do is you will code it again, and then you will release another version of it. So for example, if your project version is version 1.0, so if you notice there is a bug, or you notice that any more feature can be added to it, so you add that feature, you execute it, you all good to go, you launch it. So that will be version 1.2, uh, let's say. Then you notice something else, you add something more functionality to your project, and then it becomes version 1.3. So what is happening here is, this is the versions are going on and on of your project, but who is keeping track of this? But just assume that there is no GitHub available. So who will keep track of all these things? So there comes the use of Git and GitHub. So for example, if you roll out with a version 1.0.3, like you're 3 steps ahead of what was the initial project. So but you notice that there is some glitch, and there is some problem, and your product just crashes, or there is some issue. So what you will do, how you will revert back to it? So there comes the use of Git. So for example, if you launch 3 versions like 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, but you notice that 1.2 was better than 1.3, so can you revert back? So there comes the use of Git. We'll see that in real life. Okay, next, version control systems are of 2 types. So what are the 2 types? Let's see. The first one is the centralized version control system, or the centralized VCS, CVCS. And the second one is the distributive version control system, or DVCS. So what are they? That is what we are going to understand. So centralized version control system. What is a CVCS? You might be wondering. So in centralized version control system, in this VCS, the source code resides in the centralized system, such as a server. Developers need to write directly into the centralized repository and read the code directly off the server. What does this mean exactly? So you can see this diagram right here. So what is going on? What is centralized version control system? So according to this definition, there is a single source, there is a single server on which the code is hosted, and people across the world are coming, and for example, you are using centralized version control system in your company. So what you will do is you will dedicate a server for just that product, or that project, and the team which is working on that project will have access to that server. So, but uh, the problem with CVCS is, for example, you have hosted your code on this server right here. So there is a single source. There is a single source. There is a single server which contains the source code. All the developers across the team will come, work on it, make changes to it. But just imagine if someone makes some mistakes, there is some errors, and someone just screws up the whole product. So there's a problem. You cannot revert back. And what if the server which is hosting your code, which is hosting your source code for the product, what if it goes off? What if the server goes off? So what these developers will do, they have nothing to do and they will lose access to the whole entire thing. So that is why centralized version control system is not preferable. So but Git is a distributive version control system. It is not a centralized version control system. So now we'll see what is a DVCS, distributive version control system. So what is it exactly? In DVCS, the code repository resides on a server. It resides on a server, but it also does on every single developer's machine. So what does this mean exactly? So you can see this in the center. This is the server. This is the main server, and the source code resides here. But in DVCS, the copy of the source code is distributed to each and every developer working on that product or in that team. So the copy of the source code is given to this developer, like each and every developer who is working on that project, who is there in the team and authorized for that. So what is the biggest benefit of it? So if I'm a developer and I'm working on this product, so I will download the copy of the source code on my local machine, and now I can work on it from my local machine. I can make changes to it. I can debug it. I can add a feature to it. I can test it, and if it works, we can contribute it to the main server right here. Same goes with another developer. If he comes up with another good idea, so he can also make changes and then contribute it to the main hosting server, and then things can be brought together and a final product can be formed. So you don't need an internet, you don't need to be connected to the main server all the time, because you can download it on your local machine and work on it. So you don't need to be connected to the main server every time. So this is the biggest benefit of distributive version control system. That is why Git is a distributive version control system, and that is why we use it. So I hope this is clear. Next, we will move on to why Git. We understood everything. What is Git? Or Git is a DVCS, and what is DVCS? But why we actually need Git? Why? What will happen if we don't use Git? What will go wrong if we don't use Git? So that is the question. So there are some benefits of there are some advantages which cannot be matched anywhere. Only Git provides that kinds of benefits. So the first one here is revert the code files back to the previous state. As I was explaining, that we release the version 1.0, 1.2, 1.3, but if we see that version 1.3 is not working out the way we expected, we can roll back to version 1.2. So that is one of the features of Git. Second is recall and revert the entire project back to its initial or previous state. So it's same as the first one. We can revert back to the previous state, but we can also revert back to the initial state where we started. Where we started off, and suppose if we decide to just start off everything from scratch, and the way we started, the very first commit we made, so we want to start from there. So that can be done easily with Git. And the third one is compare code changes over specific duration of time. What does this mean? This means there is a version 1.1, and we make some changes and we launch version 1.2. We added few more lines of code. So Git provides you the ability to compare both the versions, compare each line of code which is newly added to the new version. So that can be done easily, and you can compare it. And if you don't feel it's appropriate, you can just roll back to the previous version. And this is one of the most important points. Find who last modified a piece of code that might be causing an issue or problem. For example, there is a team of 10 people working on a project, and all the 10 members or all the 10 developers working in the team are contributing uh, source code to the main project. But what if something goes wrong? What if some developer screws up something, or he makes some mistake and the whole app crashes because of that? So that's not acceptable at all. So, but with Git, that is very easy. You can see what changes are made, which developer made what change at what point of time, at what line of code he added. That can be easily done, and it can be fixed as soon as possible. Who introduced a particular issue and when, like the same as the last one, who made the change, who introduced the feature, and many more. Git have like, if you go on another website and search what are the advantages of Git, you may find different ones. Like there are a number of advantages of Git, which I like. These are the main ones, but you will find, surely you'll find some more. Okay, but when and why to use Git? We know the advantages. We know what is Git. We know it is a DVCS, but when to use it and why to use it? So same thing I'm going to illustrate now. For example, this is your app. You created this app and now you think this is a perfect idea and now I need to deploy it and I need to launch it in front of the world. So you deploy it. So this is the deployed version. My app version 1.0.0. Suppose this is the name of your product, my app. So this is the version 1.0.0 and you deployed it. But you come up with another interesting idea, another interesting feature which you can add to this product. You add it on a local machine and you decide to deploy it once again uh, in the form of the next version. So next version, my app version 1.0.1. This was 1.0.0 and this is 1.0.1. So next version, if you come up with something more good, you can deploy it, no issues with that. 1.0.2. But if you find out and if your users give you feedback that the previous version, which was 1.0.1, that was better than the version 1.0.2, like you have just experimented this version, but your users give you feedback that this one was pretty much better than the current one. What you can do with Git, you can just revert back to the previous version. It's as simple as that. So, but if you find out that this is also not good, I can go back to previous one. You can do that. So this is the biggest advantage of Git, and this is the basic on which Git is based. This is where Git comes used, and I gave you reason to use Git. This is the biggest reason. And now GitHub. So many people confuse Git and GitHub. So what are they exactly? Are they same? Are they different? Or what is the connection between Git and GitHub? So that that is the very first doubt which comes to my mind, which came to my mind when I was starting off with Git and GitHub. And it is a very common, if you search on Google, this is the like most common question related to Git. If you search related to Git, so this is the most common question. So I will answer your question. What is GitHub? Are Git and GitHub same? Absolutely no. They are totally different things. Like they are tools, but Git is a version control system. It is a tool which is used on a local machine. But GitHub, what is GitHub? GitHub is a hosting site. So you host your Git repository. Your Git repositories are always local on a local machine, on a local computer. But with use of GitHub, you can host it online, and then it can be easily available, accessible. Then it is easily accessible to the entire world. Anyone can download its source code and anyone can contribute it. Basically, it will be available to everyone and anyone can contribute to your project. This is what I was saying from so back. GitHub is a provider of internet hosting for software development and version control using Git. This is the definition. It offers the distributed version control and source code management functionality of Git. Plus, it has many other features like apart from Git, is it has many other features. These are some important terms which we are going to use today in our event. So the first one is directory. What is directory? Directory is nothing but a folder. In Linux or in command line, we we call the folder as directory. So no need to get confused. Directory is just another name of folder. So don't be confused with that. What is repository? This is the most important term if you are working with Git. If you're working with Git, repository is the most important term. You will come across it in today's session. You will come across it every minute. So let me tell you what it is. Repository is a collection of files and folders on your code. So you are creating a project. So there are files, there are folders. So the collection of files and folders, it's called a repository. Basically, your project can be called a repository. Okay. So we will get back to it in just a few minutes. What is a branch? Branch, this I will be explaining when I will be using the terminal more accurately, will understand it. So these are the two branches, main and master. So this will be clear to you in just few minutes. Branch, the default, let me tell you one thing, that the default branch which GitHub or Git uses right now is the main branch. Previously it used to be master, but recently the main branch has changed. Like the default branch of Git is main branch. So if you go and search for some tutorials related to Git or GitHub, you may find like in 2019 or 2020, the older tutorials, they might be using master as their default branch. So no need to get confused with that. Main branch is the default branch now, so don't be confused. It's just a matter of terms. So the terminology is different. Add, commit, and push. This I will be explaining. Adding means adding your code to the staging area. Now, what is staging area? I'll come back to it in just few minutes. What is commit? Committing is taking a snapshot of your source code. What is a snapshot? Saving your code. Once you make changes and you add it and you commit it, then Git saves it and takes a snapshot of it. Push is used when you want to push your local repository to a global, like a remote repository. Clone, fork, pull, and merge. This we are going to. Cloning means taking a copy of someone else's Git repository on your local machine. Forking is also like that only, like taking a copy of someone else's repository online on GitHub and working on it and then contributing to it. Pull is pulling means a pull request you make when you fork and you make some changes to someone else's repository, and then you make a pull request, and then if the changes are relevant, the owner of the repository merges them. Don't be confused. We will go to each of them while execution part. How Git works. So you know what is Git and where it is used, but the most important part, how it works. Even like before the session, some people might be knowing what is Git and how to use it, but the thing here, I'm going to tell you how it actually works. That's the more important part here. So this is the entire workflow of Git. This is how Git actually works. This is what happens behind the scenes. So this is a working directory. What is a working directory? Working directory is your active folder in which your project file resides on your local machine, on your laptop, on your computer. It is called a working directory. You're done with the project on the working directory, and now you want to push it to Git. Like you want to put it on Git on the local repository hosted on your local machine. So you will use the git add command. We will use the command. Don't be confused. Like what command is what? We will use each and every command here. Don't get confused. So git add, we are adding the current working like a repository to a staging area. Now, what is a staging area? Staging area is a platform where you add the code, and from that place, it is ready to be committed to the local Git repository. Okay, and then once you add your files to the staging area, then they are ready to be committed, and then it is stored on a local Git repository. But till this point, we are on a local machine. We have no connection with other repositories, any other remote repositories, or anything on the internet. We don't have any connection right now. So with Git push, we push our code to the remote repository hosted on GitHub. So here comes from this line, we go into the GitHub part. This part is the GitHub part, and this entire part is the Git part. So that's how it works. This is the entire workflow, and this we are taking a pull request, checkout, git merge. Everything will be explained in detail once we go to the terminal. So what are the prerequisites for using Git? You should be the Git should be installed on a local machine. I will explain you how to install it. A code editor, any code editor which you feel comfortable with. I personally use VS Code. You can use Sublime, Atom, Vim, or any other editor in the world that will work fine. And obviously a GitHub account, so that is also needed. So enough of theory and presentations. Now let's jump directly into the execution part. Okay. So just imagine you are creating a project, and or you already have a project, that doesn't matter. So I want to create a folder here. I will name my folder as a project folder, maybe in lowercase. Oh, this was it. This was it. So this is the folder where I will create my project. So I go to this. Just give me 1 sec. Okay. Think I'm good to go. Can you see my screen? Can you see what is being shared on the screen, please? Can anyone just try it? Yes or no? Okay. Now, can you see the homepage, like the my desktop? Okay. So this is a folder. This is our project folder, and is this saying? Okay. Thank you so much. So this is our current project folder, and here we are going to create a project. So before that, let me show you how to install Git and GitHub. So for installing Git, you just need to go. You just need to type on Google. There's nothing. There's nothing big in that. Install. Sorry. Install Git. And the very first link here, if you see gitscm.com, if you see it, just go on it. And if you don't see it, and you can just go manually on this URL. If you are using Mac or Linux, Git usually comes pre-installed on Mac and Linux. But in case if it's not there, you can just install it with just one command, that is sudo apt install git all. But if you are using Windows, you can go to download section, and you can download it from here, this part here, right here. So you can choose your system. It's a 64-bit or 32-bit, but I will not install it because I already have it installed on my PC. There's nothing great in the installation process. Just download it from here, and then just double click on it and just keep on clicking next, and just agree to the terms, and Git will be installed. I personally believe that the default settings of Git are the best. So don't change any settings. Just click next, 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 and just install it. It's a normal installation process. You will also need to install VS Code. So I think it's code.visual. Yeah, right here. You need to go to the Visual Studio Code website. This is the website. Let me show you. This code.visualstudiocode.com, and then just go to the downloads section, download for Windows, and right here you can download it from here. And again, it is a very like normal process. Like see, it came. Save. I can save it. So you can just download it and install it. There's nothing great in the installation process. It's a normal installation like any other software in the world. There's nothing different about it. So I hope you will do that. I already have it installed, so I'll show you now how you need to work with that. Okay, I'll go to my project folder, which I previously created. So before that, can I just ask you for your like feedback till here? Anyone faced any difficulty while hearing me in my voice, in my video, in my screen share? Anyone faced any difficulty? Please write in the comment. Is everything okay? Yes or no? If you say yes, then I'll continue. Just type yes or no. Is everything okay till now? Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. And now we'll be doing the execution part. So please pay attention now, because this is the most important part. Till now, whatever you have read, that is was just theory, but that was also important to like I was trying to make you comfortable with the terms and what is Git, GitHub, and how it works. That was also very important. But now we are going to jump into the execution part, which is the most important part. So please pay attention to it. So I'm sharing my screen right here. Is my screen visible? Okay. Now I'll go to my project folder. Now, suppose now when you install Git Bash on your system, so you want to initialize it into your project working directory, project work, like this is my active working directory. So I need to install it. Here I need to initialize Git. So go to the working directory of your project where your project is resided. Open it and just right click there. Once you have Git Bash installed, you can do that very easily. I showed you how to do it. Now click on this option right here, Git Bash here. Okay. So this terminal will open. Now this is the most powerful thing when using Git. We can use graphical user interfaces also, but the power which you get with the terminal is like not that cannot be compared with the graphical user interfaces. So this is a terminal. Now don't be afraid by seeing the terminal. It is the this is going to be your friend. If you are a programmer, developer, or a CSC student, maybe you don't know how to use it now, but this is going to be your friend forever if you continue in this stream, if you don't change the stream. So this is the most important part. So I will create a new file here. So I can create by going here and right click and no, but no, I'm trying to teach you how to use it with the terminal, how to work with the terminal, and I want to make you comfortable with it. So we are going to make a file here. Let me show you first with the GUI. I will make a file here, new, then text document, any file like my file, and then I press enter. This is a blank file. This does not have anything. This is a blank file. You can see it, but delete it. Can we do that same thing with the terminal? Of course we can. You can see right now we are in the project. You can see here in the project directory. Now I want to see what is there in this directory. So for that, I will use the command ls. ls means list all the files and folders under this folder. So I will press ls and see nothing is there. This project directory is completely empty. So I will do that. Now I want to create a file. So for creating a file, we will use a command, and that is the touch command. So what does a touch command do? Touch command basically creates a blank file. So it can be in any extension, .txt, .html, .js, .css, .py, .java, anything. It can be anything. So touch command is used to create a blank file. All you need to keep in mind is this. So touch, and I'm going to create a file like index.html. This is the name of the file. Don't be afraid with this extension right here. It's just a normal HTML file. If you don't know how to use it, there's nothing different in it. So I will press enter now, and you can see the file is created. At the back, you can see it's created. I may create another file like index.js, and I press enter. I'm sorry. I forgot to edit this one. Index.js, and I press enter. You can see it is created. So this is the power of terminal. This is in one line you can do great stuff. So I created this. Now, how to edit these files and how to work on these projects? So I need to open my code editor, that is Visual Studio Code, which I personally use. You can use anyone, and I showed you how to install it. It's right here. So I can click on this. I can go to open folder, navigate to this folder, and then open. But I don't want to do it because I'm a programmer. I want to use terminal. So I'm already in this project folder. What I will do is just write one line of command. So that is code and dot. Dot means all. So read it from behind, like all, like open all files in Visual Studio Code in the project directory. That is it. When I press enter, Visual Studio Code should open. Yeah, you can see it. Okay. Now these are the two files we created. These are the two files we created. First one was the index.html. It's an empty file right now because we use the touch command, and touch command creates an empty file. This is the index.js. JavaScript.js means JavaScript, and this .html is a HTML file. So don't be confused with what exactly this is, like .html, .js. I'm just trying to explain you the concept of Git and not anything else. So that's what I'm trying to do. So I'll create a basic sample code of HTML. So I can type it manually, but I will not because that is not our point of interest today. So this is a basic HTML file. This is how it looks. If you don't know, this is how a basic HTML file looks like. So don't be afraid with this. What are these tags? These are normal HTML tags we use, and we are going to customize it now. For example, this we will enter our project name in the title. So we'll call it my project, maybe. Yeah. Okay, my project. And we will provide an h1 and hello users. This is my project version 1.0.1. That's okay. Now, if I hit Control S and I open this in my web browser by double clicking it, you can see this is rendered. This is a normal HTML file. So I'm not teaching you to create HTML file, but till now we have not till now we have not touched the Git concept execution part I'm talking about. But this is all to make you familiar. I'm trying to like uh, call you in the developer's environment. I want to like make up your mind as a developer right now. I want to make you think like a developer right now. So that is what I'm trying to do right now. I'm not using any Git concept. We'll start off in just 2 minutes with that. So this is a normal HTML file. You can even go and change its color, style, background color, yellow. And if I go there and I refresh it, you can see the color is changed. Okay, but that's not a point of interest right now. This is a normal HTML file. Now, let's jump into the concept of Git. So one more thing I want to tell is we have a terminal here, Git bash, but there is one more plus point with VS Code. If you open VS Code and you see a terminal. So this is the most awesome thing in VS Code. It provides us a terminal, like integrated terminal, so you can use it. So just click on this and new terminal. By default, it will open PowerShell, but we need to go to new Git bash. Select this. You can see exact same thing is opened. Exact same thing like this. You can see my name and everything is there, and you can see exactly the same thing is there and the same directory is there. So we can minimize it, and now I will explain you to work in this. Like what I'm trying to do is make you familiar with the terminal of Git bash as well as the terminal of VS Code. So all the commands which we run in that will surely work in this. We made like touch command we previously used, like we can create another file like file.js. You can see the file is created right here. Now, let's jump into the concepts of Git. So what I want to do is now relate Git or initialize Git in my project. So the command for it is very simple. It's self-explanatory. Git init -b and main. Now I'll explain you. Git. Every command every command you will use in Git will begin with the word Git. This is a command to like initialize Git into your repository. And these two things I will explain you. Well, I will be explaining branches too. Basically, this is just a main branch, -b for branch, and we are specifying the branch as main. Okay. Now I will press enter. You can see uh, initialize empty Git repository in this location. Okay. Now we have integrated Git into our project. Git is integrated to our project, right? So successfully we have integrated Git. Now what we need to do is we need to commit or add things to the Git local repository of our directory, working directory. We are going to add the files, or we are going to add our repository to the Git local repository. So how we will do that? We will do that with git add. This is a git command for adding your files or folders to the Git local repository. So git add and name of the file. So what files we have? You can see with ls command we have 3 files right here. So we will use git add, and maybe we want to add index.html. So we will just write index. One more tip I want to give you: if you are using command line, so there are multiple files with different names. So just type the initial 1 or 2 or 3 letters and then press tab, so it will autocomplete. Right now we have 2 files with index dot, so it will take you to index, and then you have to type it manually because the names are same. Maybe we want to add the index.html file. Now you have to press enter. Now, how will we know that our file is added or not to the Git staging area? Now you know what is Git staging area. I explained you with the working flow diagram. So if you want, I can open it again and show it to you. I'm sorry, this right here. This. Right now we were here, like before that we were here, we use the git command and we added our index.html to staging area. So now our file is here. Still it is on the local git repository, but it is in the staging area. Now what is staging area? It is like ready to commit. Okay, and now we'll go back to our VS code. Okay, we have used the git add command. Now how you will know if our file is added or not? A very simple command, self-explanatory, git status. You should use this command very often if you are a beginner. Like any change you make to a file, folder, or even in the command line of your git bash, so you should use this command very often because you have to keep a track of what you're doing exactly. So git status, you can see, I'll explain you each and everything here. So right now we are on the main branch. We haven't made any commits. Self-explanatory, changes to be committed. That means what? This is the file which is added to the staging area because we use the name of this file. But these are the files which are not added to the staging area. That's why they are in red. So the files which are added to the staging area are in the green color, and which are not are in the red color. So if I want to add this file also to the staging area, what I will do? Git add, and the name of the file again index.js. It automatically came, so I will just press enter. One more thing I want to ask, do you want me to use this terminal only, or shall I switch to the external git bash? Are you able to see if it's coming down here? Is it okay to use git terminal in VS code? Can you see this down part here? I hope it's not cropping out. Please, is it okay? Integrated one. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, integrated one is better, so I'll use that only. Now what we have done is added the index.js to our staging area, and now we will see if it's there. You can see the index.js has reached to our staging area. The color was red, but now the color is changed to green. You can see. Now if I want to add this file also, I can do the same with git add file.js, and if I see by git status, see, all the three files are added to the staging area. So now what we're going to do is, maybe if we want to remove our file from staging area, so what we can do, what is the command for that? So I'll tell you what. Git rm for remove, and hyphen hyphen cached, and then the name of the file. So for example, if I want to remove index.js from the staging area, index.js. Okay, now if I check git status, you can see the color has turned to red and it is removed from the staging area. Okay, so if you want to permanently remove a file, like if you want to delete it, you just use git rm. Rm means remove. Remove is like deleting a file. So we'll just index.js. So this file will be okay. I think it's not in the staging area. That's why it's not deleting it. But yes, we can just normally remove index.js. Okay, now if you see that file is gone from here. Okay, now we want to commit our changes. Now what is committing? One step further from one step for, like I'll show you here. One step further from the staging area is the commit. Now after committing, the project will be stored in our local Git repository. So that is the thing which we are going to do now. So things are clear till here. Can you just ping me? Can I see the responses, please? things are clear till here, please write yes or no. If anyone has any doubt, I can clear it right here. Okay, okay, thank you so much. Okay, so right now we are here. Now we will commit and add to a local Git repository. So we'll go back to our VS Code, and now we will use git commit command. So for committing, what is the command? That is git. Let me do it full. Yes. Anyone has something to say? There is a message. No, I'm good. Okay. Git commit now. This is it. No, this is not it. For committing, you will use git commit, and now you will provide a message. Now, what is a message? A message like we are committing a change to a product or to a project. So what changes we made in this commit that we need to specify. For that, we are using this hyphen m for the message basically. So message we will provide in this quotations, like we can write any string here, but it should be meaningful so that when you look back after some time to your project, you should understand what change I made via this commit. So it's a first commit, so I will write my first commit, right? Then I'll press enter. Okay, so now my changes are committed, and my changes and my project, now the snapshot has been taken and my changes have been saved on the local Git repository. Okay, so this is what we have done. Now if you run Git status, see, on branch main, we are on the main branch, nothing to commit, working tree is clean. So this, what is a working tree? This is a working tree. Working tree is clean. We have added everything to the staging area. We have taken one step more further. We have added it to our Git local repository. Okay. So now what is the next step? Now we want to push it to GitHub. So we have a lot to cover in Git, but now, for example, if I want to push it on the GitHub on remote repositories. So for that, I will explain to you how to use GitHub. So for that, we need to go on the web and see. Now we are going to use GitHub. So what is the URL? That is just simple github.com. Just press enter. This is a normal website like any other website, but it has some own features. So I will log out and explain you how to log in and things. This is the landing page of the website. If you open it, if you are not a member and you are not signed in, you can just play around with this. So what I'm going to say is that if you have account, you can just sign in, and if you don't have, you just need to create an account. And please, right after watching this session, please go and create a GitHub account. It is very important if you are a programmer, and if you don't have a GitHub account, it's not a good thing. So I've already have, so that's why it's showing me my name. So just provide your username here, which you want, email address, what okay, it's already there. Okay, so what password you are going to use, uh, verify this puzzle and just create account. So you will get a verification mail on the email ID which you entered here, and just then go to sign in, provide your username here and password here, and just hit sign in. It may happen that for the very first time it will require to give an verification code that will be sent to your email ID. So that will happen for the very first time only, and I think it will not happen only. But if it happens, don't be afraid. You just go on your inbox and you will find the verification code there. So now I signed in. So this is how the GitHub website looks like when you are logged in. So I'm going to explain everything. What, don't get confused. What is what? So this has nothing to do with today's session. Now we'll go to my profile and I'll show you how a profile looks when you are GitHub member. So this is a profile of a normal GitHub developer. And the most important thing here is this part right here, repositories. This is the most important part here. What is a repository? I told you while I was explaining through PPT that repository is a collection of files and folders. So this is, I have 19 repositories right now, and this repository right here, or any repository, for example, if I open my this repository, it has a file. It also has folders. So what I said, Git is like repository is a collection of files and folders. Okay, these are my files. You can see these are the files. I mean folders. Inside that there are files. So now you need to create your own repository. So how you will do that? So it's a very simple thing. You can create from right here, new repository. If you are on the home page, you can create it from here, from new, or this plus sign, or new, any one of the. Okay. Now this page will open. Now you want to create your repository. So just provide a name for your repository. I will provide like my project. It is available, and any description. This is my very first project. Okay, this is leave everything as it is. I will explain you everything what is there. Okay, now create repository. The repository is created, and but it has nothing in it. It's an empty repository right now. See, these things we have already done, git init, and then the commit, and from here these things we need to do now. So what we'll do is, but we have created this repository online, and this is hosted on GitHub, and this was our repository on a local machine. Now we want to link these two things. So how we will do that? So for that purpose, we need to this thing right here. This is our URL, unique URL for our repository. We need to just copy this from here, or you can copy it manually. Now we will go on Visual Studio Code, and now we will push entire this project to GitHub. So how is that done? You will first link that remote repository to your local repository by this is the origin. This origin you have to add to your local repository, and it will link to the remote repository. So you will use git remote add origin, and then just the URL of your repository, this right here. Just right click and it will automatically be filled. Git remote add origin and the URL for that. Just press enter. Okay, so now this local repository is linked to your online remote repository. So now I want to push my changes and my project to GitHub. So what I will do is use simple command git push, and which branch I have to push. That is the main branch right here. So hyphen u, and then origin also we have to add here. So origin hyphen u, and main is the branch. And if you press enter, now you will see the magic. Now this local directory will be live on the internet on GitHub. You can see. Now if you go in this repository on GitHub, right now nothing is there, but you press refresh, then you're going to see magic. See, all the files which were there on our local machine are there now hosted on GitHub on the remote repository. So now we can even see the code. This one was empty. if I see index.html, same. This is the code which we added. Okay. Now, what we're gonna do is we are going to go deep into the GitHub concept, Git concept more. Let me just clear up the terminal. Okay. Okay. Now, for example, if I make any change to my, if I want to make any change to my to my project, but I don't want to disturb my project which is there right now. For example, I come up with an idea and I want to implement it, but I'm not sure that it will work or not. So what I will do without messing this whole up, without disturbing this entire thing, because for example, I want to integrate a sign up page in this website, but I'm not sure if it will work or not. It's a backend thing. So I will create another branch. So what is another branch? We are going to take a copy of the entire code here. In the next branch, I will explain you branch with, branch is the most like the basic of Git. The entire, if you see the Git logo right here, see, you can see the Git logo. The entire thing here is, this is the branch. So right now we are on the main branch. We want to test a feature, but we don't want to disturb the main branch. So what we'll do, we'll create another branch. It has created, see, this is another branch. And if that works, we can merge it and merge it to the main branch. It will become one branch. But if it doesn't work out, we can just delete this and the main branch will continue. So the logo itself explains what we are going to do. So now we want to create another branch and we don't want to disturb the main branch. So what we will do is git. First, we'll check on which branch we are by running git branch. Right now, we are on the main branch. It is in the green color, and the star signifies the active branch. Now we want to create another branch. So branch, name of the branch, test. Okay, sorry, git branch test. Okay, now if you run again git branch, sorry, I made a typo. See, there are two branches right here. The active one is the main branch and the test one is there. Now we have created the branch, but we are not inside that branch. If we make changes to it, it will be made to our main branch, not the test branch. So if we make changes, if we want to make changes to a test branch without disturbing our main branch, so what we'll do is just git checkout and the name of the branch. What is the test? Hit enter. You can see switch to branch test. That means we are now in the test branch. And if we make now any changes, for example, we want to add an h2 here. This is a test feature, and I'm not sure it will work. This we have added, and another we have added a button right here. Okay, sign up button, and we hit Control S, and now if we go to a browser and we just refresh it, we can see this thing has been rendered. But if we go here and now add it, so git add. One more thing, previously we were adding files to the remote repository by git add and the name of the branch by typing here. But what if there are more than like many files? We can't add it manually. So what we'll do is just use this dot. This dot means all. So all the branches, all the files will be added to the remote local repository. Just hit this. Now if you see status. Okay, this is showing modified, means this file has been modified and we have added something to it. Okay, so now if it doesn't work, this feature is not working, and now I want to go back to my main branch which was there, and now I don't want these changes because it's breaking my app. So what I can do, I can simply go back to my previous branch, git checkout main. Your branch is now main. You can see here, branch is now main. And now if I run Git, I'm sorry if I'm taking a lot of time. We'll just finish it up in 10 minutes. Git branch, it's a main branch. Okay. Okay. And now if you do git add git status, it's modified. I think we need to commit it. Okay, I'm sorry. Git out test. Now I'm in the test branch, and if I make any changes and I git add git commit -n feature added. Okay, it's adding. Okay, now I have made changes to a branch, test branch here, and but I don't want these changes. These are breaking my app. So what I can do, I can go back to my main branch. So what we'll do git checkout main. You can see the changes are gone. Whatever change I added, two paragraphs and a button, one paragraph and a one h2 and a button, it's gone. So whatever mistakes I've made, those are gone. So now you will understand the concept of branching. This is the concept of branching. Now if I don't want to delete those changes and I want to merge it in my own main branch, I can just use the command git merge and name of the branch. That was a test branch. Okay, right now if you see git branch, but if I want those changes, so what I'll do, git merge and name of the branch which I want to merge with my working branch. Now right now I'm in the working branch is main branch. So the name of the branch which you want to merge to your current working branch, that is the main branch. So git merge test. You can see those changes are now merged into my main branch. So this is where git comes in use. This is the most important feature of git, the merging in this. I've merged it, and now let's go to GitHub and learn something more about GitHub. Till now, anyone has any doubts, please tell me. Is the session going good? We'll just take 10 more minutes. Just 10 more minutes, we'll finish up with the GitHub concept. Okay, Ujjwal says, what about memory consumption? We are coming to it by adding. I'll introduce the git ignore command to you, and you will know how to manage memory with that. If you don't want to add too much files to the repository and uh, fill up your repository, you can use git ignore. Okay, now I'm going to GitHub website, and now we will be doing some more stuff here. So now what we were doing till now was contributing to the open source community, contributing to Git. But now we are going to take advantage of Git. For example, if I see a repository of someone on GitHub, for example, if I go to my profile, and if I go to my repositories, and if I go to any of my repository, for example, this one right here, and if I want this repository or any other one, like a small one, okay, example, this one, I want this one in my computer. I want this repository on my computer. I want to work on it. How I will do it? That is called cloning. Cloning means downloading someone else's repository on your local machine and then working on it. So how you can do that? You can go here, code. Either you can download a zip. If you press this, a zip file will be downloaded. You can see here, but I don't want to do that because that's a very simple thing. But if I want to do it through terminal, so what you will do, you will just copy this link right here, and you'll go to, maybe you can go to just here. Okay, now you will do git clone, and the URL which we copied. So it will download the entire project on your local machine. Now, if you press ls, you can see that repository has hack tool. This was my repository. Now you can just cd means change directory to the hack tool. See, this was the file there, and you can see this is downloaded on your local machine. Now you can work on it, you can make changes to it. Same thing is forking. Now if you go to any other repository of any other user, so it's taking some time. For example, this guy right here, I want to work on this repository and make some changes to it. So I will fork it from here. Nothing, just press fork. Okay, now this repository is listed under my repositories on my GitHub account. If you go to my profile and to my repositories, see it's become 21. So, okay, I think it's not there. Okay, specs, it is there, specs. Forked from the username, and now you can make changes to it, and you can just make changes to it, whatever. Like for example, if you have a idea or a feature you want to integrate into his website, so you can just make changes to it. You can just make a pull request. What is a pull request? You make changes to someone else's repository, you add a feature to it, make a pull request, and if that person thinks that this is a considerable change and you can add it to your own repository, then he will accept your pull request, or he will merge your pull request and your feature will be added to his own repository. Okay, I think we have covered most of the things, the basic ones, and we have taken a lot of time, and I've taken a lot of time. Now we will have a simple Q&A. If anyone has any doubt, please ask, and then we'll move on. We'll wind up the session. Okay. Any doubt regarding Git, GitHub, or any other thing, you can just, we have 5 minutes. You can ask Q&A, anything, and we will do the wind up. Okay. Okay, I guess you guys don't have any doubt. That's a very good thing. But I want to tell you guys that please, if you don't have a GitHub account, please create a GitHub account, start using Git, because Git is the most important thing if you're a programmer, software developer, or even a software engineering, computer science engineering student. So please create a GitHub account, learn how to use Git. One more thing, any of the, yeah, resources, yeah, resources. I was just coming to it. Okay. Uh, any of the commands which I've used, you can find it. I have my own website, and I will give the link to you. Just 1 minute. Okay. Where I was, Teams. Okay. Okay, so this is the link. Please give it a check. This is my website, and it has resources related to like anything. If you are in a tech field, like you are learning web development or front end, back end, cyber security, UI, UX, version controls. So about version controls, let me just show you. Just a second. Okay. We go to this and my website. This is the website right here. So you can find resources to anything. And what we learned today was this version controls. If you go to this and you can see there are if you click these links, this has a ton of resources. These are some awesome free resources. And this right here, I will give a link to this as well, or I can just give a link to this. I'm sorry. Okay, it may not work. Yeah, it will work. So this is the website you can visit. And okay, this was me, Shubham Dangi, and I hope you learned something at least about Git and GitHub. That is enough for me. And we are now winding off. If you want to get in touch with me, please feel free to ask any doubt. I am available. These are these are okay. I think these are my social handles. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any doubts regarding Git, GitHub, or regarding web development. I am a web developer. So if you have any doubts regarding these topics, please feel free to reach out to me. And please feel free to visit my website, technoshubham.github.io/resources. A ton of resources, free resources are there. You can just visit that website and just learn many things for free. Okay, thank you so much, guys. This was it for today's session. Thanks a lot.